Alrighty, let's move on to this. And I don't know how much I want to read this and read into this and how long I want to spend on this, but we got to give Dan Campbell a little bit of a shot here. So there's a piece written about Dan Campbell, who the man is, what he's all about. So let's read this article. It's decently lengthy, so, if we're not getting anything in the first couple of paragraphs, we'll move off of this. But we'll try and give Dan Campbell a fair shake here, truly see if we can buy this man, because we just haven't bought this man at all, and we didn't really like anything that he's done in this kind of offseason ever since he's gotten the starting job. Everything hasn't really panned out good for the man. We can't really buy or sink our teeth into really anything that he's done and get behind anything that he's done. So let's read this article right here on the man and see if we can maybe find some good things to say about Dan Campbell, and maybe find some good things that make us buy this team a little bit. Can we bet this team at all this year? Most likely not. I would say the safest thing is to always bet against this Lions team. I think that's probably the easiest bet of every single week, is betting against the Lions. But let's see if that could change here. So let's see what we get about our boy here, Dennis Campbell. Here we go. The Dan Campbell experience comes to Detroit. So here we go. Let's see what they say about this man. Here we go. Dan Campbell's biggest fear is what he will feel he has to act a way he does not want to. That one day, in a bid for respect or approval, he won't be the truest version of himself for even 1 second, and he will sit down and write some long thought-out speech. He will sometimes, quote, calm down if he needs to get a point across to his team, he explains, and lists bullet points. For instance, quote, but man, I hate that. I hate that. I want to be able to talk with what's in my heart and on my mind, because that's who I am. It's just everything. That's the essence of who I am, he says. Campbell then changes the subject mid-sentence. He does that a lot. Oh, great. We got this man that can't even stay focused. He's talking about how much he hates not being able to kind of say what's on his mind and say exactly what he's feeling. And then he goes and changes the topic mid-sentence. Okay, let's keep going here. He does that a lot, but it's always welcome because, well, he's Dan Campbell. He's rolling. He explains that when the latest coaching cycle started last winter and he was an assistant in New Orleans, he told his agent to get him in front of Lions brass for their head coaching vacancy. Quote, there's this small handful of teams that I'm like, I belong here, Campbell says. This was at the top of the list because I've been here, and I remember as a player thinking, God, if you could ever win in Detroit, oh my God. Well, you can't win anywhere else, Dan Campbell. You haven't won as a head coach anywhere. You're the interim of Miami Dolphins head coach after Joe Philbin. That didn't result in anything. And then you went to the New Orleans and was an assistant head coach. And once again, can we attribute any of those Saints wins to Dan Campbell directly? I don't think so. So yeah, if you can win in Detroit, yeah, that'd be great. But a couple of things are holding you back from that. One, you've never been a head coach before. Two, the ownership is a mess. And three, the overall roster is very, very lackluster. You got Jared Goff on your team, who even Sean McVay couldn't win a Super Bowl with or score any meaningful points in the Super Bowl with. So it's no disrespect to Dan Campbell, but I'm taking Sean McVay over Dan Campbell every single day of the week. Easy peasy. That's not even a discussion, a debate, anything like that. It's Sean McVay 100% of the time. So okay, let's keep it up here with Dan Campbell. He explains that Detroit reminds him of Texas, where he grew up, but just with different accents. A place built around family and hard work. He starts to get emotional and clears his throat, saying, quote, everything about this place, Campbell says of Detroit, quote, the bubble burst, housing, it hit everywhere, but it hit here. And then the auto industry, man, takes a hit, and the Lions have sucked for 30 years, and they're always the joke year in and year out. Oh, the Lions in this narrative, he says in a mock voice of how people talk about the team. He continues, quote, I just feel like this place fit me, man. It really did. Like I belonged. Like I literally fit like a glove in Detroit. They love the Lions. They love football. And this place called out to me. It was like, you know what? You need to let these guys know what you're about, that you understand their own pain. All right, but it's not all about connecting. Just because you connect to a place, a city, a team, a franchise, players, coaches, anything like that, you still have to put in the work. And Dan Campbell, unfortunately, does not have a resume at all at the head coaching spot. So, yeah, having this dream and, fitting in great and feeling like you fit in great and just feeling like this place is calling to you, yeah, that's all good and well, but that's not going to do anything for you on the football field. And like he just said, the Lions have sucked for 30 years. They're not going to kind of be like, well, Dan Campbell really cares about us, so not winning is fine. They're eager to win, and if you're not winning, they're gonna kind of toss you aside like literally every other Lions coach for the last 30 years. So Dan Campbell, just because you feel like you connect with the city of Detroit, that you understand all their struggles, I don't think that's gonna hold up too long if you're continuing to lose the entire season. So once again, it's just Dan Campbell. He says good things. I'm not saying like these aren't good traits to kind of say and to have and that you can buy into it. But at the end of the day, this alone does not get the job done. Him just saying this isn't going to make me buy into him a little bit more just because he's so happy to be here and feels like he truly fits here. We need a little bit more substance out of this. And everything he's done so far has no substance to it. And that's kind of what we're saying. There's just no real substance to Dan Campbell. He says a lot of things that, seem motivational, that kind of seem like it would motivate our locker room, but it never really does because it's all just kind of boilerplate, kind of basic generic things. Let's keep it up here. The Lions hired Campbell, 45, in January, and 7 months later, I'm in his office at the team's suburban Detroit facility getting what many Lions players and coaches have already seen, the Dan Campbell experience. He apologizes profusely for being late. He arrived at 1:01 for a 1 p.m. meeting. Oh, how classic is that? That's like the most cliche thing I've ever heard. He stands up front. He stands up from the desk and walks around the room to act out an explanation of how a time traveler would describe smartphones to people in the past. Quote, they'd be like, you won't believe where I was. Everyone has these little rectangular devices and they just wander around. Their fingers are doing something. They are wandering and they don't even know where they're going. They live through this device. I mean, everybody has had this thought, no? It's like, is this anything profound? And are we supposed to, oh my God, this great message that Dan Campbell has. I mean, are we supposed to take this away from him pacing around the room? I don't even know. Just mumbling about smartphones and what people from the past would say? This is what we're talking about, man. This is all the man is. He's like a walking, like everybody likes to write these kind of fluff pieces on Dan Campbell because, oh, it's so lighthearted. Oh, see this guy, he's talking about smartphones and people of the past coming and they wouldn't even believe it. Oh my God, it's so insightful. It's like, it's just generic stuff he's saying and everybody wants to, say he's some genius because he's having some thoughts. I just don't get it. What else do we get here? Let's keep going here. Jeez Louise. This article is not doing it for us, folks. This is just the same things we've been hearing all the time. This is what we know Dan Campbell to be. There's nothing that we can really buy. There's nothing more to Dan Campbell. This is all it is. Let's keep it up here. Campbell thinks smartphones are the worst thing that has happened to coaching because he believes that players across sports have lost the ability to communicate with their colleagues in the locker room. Says, quote, it's a big emphasis. It's a lost art, man, to be able to say, listen, you've got an issue or something's going on. Come up and look at me and tell me exactly what's on your mind. If something's bothering you, come up and tell me. Just tell me. Don't text your agent. Don't have your agent call Lions general manager Brad Holmes so Brad calls me. Just come up and say, we are trying to breed that culture. Just come up and say it. We are trying to breed that culture. But if they come up to you and kind of say, hey, we have an issue, then you go on a long tangent about people from the past coming to the present times and not knowing what smartphones are. So we're hearing that the writer of this article is saying that he's, changing topics mid-sentence and mid-conversation and everything like that. You think that he's just putting on this performance for this writer? I'm sure this is what Dan Campbell's like the entire time. So players are not going to buy into that. Players are going to get kind of tired of that and then do exactly what Dan Campbell says don't do. They're going to text their agent, and then the agent gets in touch with the owner or the general manager, and then it gets back to Dan Campbell because Dan Campbell's going off on some tangent about, the Daytona 500 and how he should have been a race car driver and not a head coach somewhere. I don't know. All right, let's keep going here in the article. Campbell's solution to any potential communication problems is to say exactly what he means at all times. Yeah, we got that from the first paragraph. He hates not being able to say what he wants to say, which is what he's done in a coaching career that includes 5 seasons as an assistant in New Orleans, a 6-year stint on the Miami Dolphins staff, and a decade-long NFL player career as a blocking tight end. He is sort of a bizarro world jacked Ted Lasso. Oh my God, Ted Lasso. I mean, you can't even have a conversation without somebody bringing up Ted Lasso. So yeah, that's comedy. An American has to be the head coach of a soccer club because Americans don't understand soccer. So funny. It's so comical. Oh, okay, that's what Dan Campbell is. He's Ted Lasso, and I don't like the premise of Ted Lasso. I get it's funny. I get it's raved about. Everybody loves it. I get it. The premise, it doesn't do it for me. Okay, yeah, we're making fun of Americans not watching soccer. How funny is that? Is that supposed to be funny? Because ESPN doesn't put on soccer, so nobody watches soccer. It's like, okay. So this is Dan Campbell. No wonder why I'm not in love with Dan Campbell, because he's Ted Lasso, folks. Puts it perfectly right there. His players and coworkers adore him, and he's been memed by the national media. Oh, yeah, he's a head coach that can get memed. Oh, he's so lovable and likable. Folks, I can't buy Dan Campbell. I can't. I'm trying. This is what we were trying to do here in the article. I wanted something that wasn't the classic Dan Campbell that we see all the time and what we actually know that he is. We wanted something else. Lie to us. Say that he's some intellectual genius that actually knows what he's doing, and all this stuff is just kind of a persona. This is who the actual man is, and that's fine. I don't care about the man like that, but as a head coach, it's not going to win in this league, folks. It's not going to win in this league. It's not going to win in this league, especially with this Lions team. You put him on maybe the Packers, maybe Aaron Rodgers could carry this man as a head coach. I think he kind of carried Mike McCarthy a little bit, so I think he could have carried Dan Campbell to maybe a deep playoff run, potentially a Super Bowl championship. But Dan Campbell's not going to do anything with this Lions team, folks. Nobody's buying into this dude. All right, his players and coworkers adore him, and he's been memed by the national media. He cares about the first part far more than the latter. He became a viral sensation for getting a little too passionate during his first introductory press conference when he proclaimed that the Lions were going to bite opponents' kneecaps while playing a physical brand of football. His comments, he explains, like everything else he does, were about cutting through to his constituency? Jeez. Let's see what this word's all about. Constituency. Let me get the pronunciation up here. Constituency. Jeez. A body of voters. Yes. Constituency. Okay. All right, through his constituency by saying exactly how he felt. Says, quote, "No, I know you can't freaking bite kneecaps and crack kneecaps, and those are 15-yard penalties," which, by the way, I've gotten letters on that, but it just called to me, Campbell says. The last thing on my mind was, I wonder how the national media is going to react. I was talking to our players and our fans, and that's all I care about. Now that I like, yeah, who cares about what the national media says? Don't care about that. Don't even care what I say. I'm just talking here. But, Dan Campbell, yeah, don't care what the media says. You're talking to your players. Say whatever you want. We don't care. Dan Campbell, we don't care. Say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If it gets it done, it gets it done. But we don't think it's going to get it done. And if it does get it done, we'll apologize to Dan Campbell. I would have no problem apologizing to Dan Campbell. If Dan Campbell wins like 8 games, I will have to apologize because I really don't even think they're going to get close to 8 games. So, Dan Campbell, you win 8 games. I'll apologize to you on the show. You got it done. I will admit that. But you got to do it first. Dan Campbell is a man who is comfortable in his own skin. Coaching, like politics, is local, and the kneecap comment played completely differently to Campbell's intended audience. Quote, what I got from it was genuine, says Lions offensive lineman Taylor Decker. Quote, I want to see camaraderie in the locker room. I want to see a bunch of bad motherfuckers out there just be the Detroit Lions, and we're going to go out there and hit people in the mouth. You can hear coach speak from other coaches. Look at the guy. He's fucking 3% body fat. He's got great energy. He wants everyone to learn, compete, and have a chance. One of the days I was in Detroit, Campbell went viral for his Starbucks order. He has called himself an asshole for cutting a particular long snapper. He did it on his birthday. He has talked about his 2 teacup Yorkies, Thelma and Louise, and what they taught him about football, but these are incidental details. Campbell is different from other coaches because he can't be anything other than himself. I hate when people say that, oh, I'm just myself. Yeah, everybody's themselves. Well, you relax, and you're not special because you're yourself. Like, what is that? Dan Campbell's not like other coaches because he can't be anything other than himself? What? The story of successful head coaches is usually the story of being you. Authenticity is no guarantee of success, obviously, but the opposite is almost a guarantee of failure. Head coaching, like the phenomenon described in Tom Wolfe's The Right Stuff, can lead to lifelong alphas getting to the very top level of their profession and realizing they are not the person they thought they were. Their hands shake, and they start to act differently as the attitude that got them the job disappears. Some coaches get top jobs and forget how they got there. It would be easy for Campbell to try to mimic either of his coaching mentors, Bill Parcells or Sean Payton, but he knows he would fail if he did. First-time coaches often decide to become clones of their bosses and lose themselves. I can make no proclamations about whether Campbell will be successful as a head coach in Detroit. He will not. August, when I arrived in Detroit, is not a time for such things, nor is the first year of a long-term rebuild on a roster that lacks a lot of talent. I can only proclaim that Dan Campbell is still Dan Campbell, a phrase that can only be defined by itself. Quote, players know a fake when they see a fake, Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn says, and they know Dan is real. Okay, Dan's real. He seems real. He seems authentic. We get that. That's definitely proven in this article. But just once again, just that total attitude, at some point we have to get some substance. It can't just be kind of all motivational speeches and, wild, bizarre things that do somehow garner the attention and the energy needed by the players to go and get it done. At some point, you still got to get it done on the field. So we'll see if Dan Campbell can do that. Let's just read maybe 1 or 2 more paragraphs here. It's still real long, and we're just getting everything that we know about Dan Campbell. So we can finish it up here. Let's read this last paragraph and these last 2 quotes here. So here we go. Here's what Campbell has to go through. He is a first-time head coach on a team starting over after trading Matthew Stafford, the Lions' all-time leading passer, to the Los Angeles Rams. They have a new quarterback, Jared Goff, and a roster that, as currently constructed, is not expected to win many games. The franchise last won a playoff game in the 1991 season when Campbell was 15 years old. The 2021 Lions will almost certainly be quite bad. Campbell's presence will not be, says, quote, I never, ever wanted to be in the weight room when he was there. He was from a different gene pool than this Northeast Jewish executive. So if he was in the weight room, I would just go for a walk and call it a day, says Mike Tannenbaum, an ESPN analyst who was the executive vice president of the Miami Dolphins when the team picked Campbell for the interim coach in 2015, says, quote, he was humiliating to be around. But once again, he didn't choose Dan Campbell to be the head coach. He was the interim, and then after the season ended, they're like, yeah, you can leave, and we'll try to find a new head coach. Because I don't think Dan Campbell was the tight ends coach for the Dolphins after that. So it's like, okay, so he's big. He's got 3% body fat. He's always in the gym. That's the reason why you hired him? Like, that's the reason why he's going to be a good coach? What? Let's continue on with the quote here. Quote, but I think in this 30-second soundbite society, people think, okay, he's really tough on players, but he has a lot of other pitches he can throw, Campbell Tannenbaum says. Epitomizes an iron fist in a velvet glove approach, says, quote, he is very relatable. I thought that authenticity was very apparent. So yes, he's authentic. He is who he is. He likes to say exactly what he means and exactly what he's saying. Okay, so does everybody else. I mean, like are we supposed to treat Dan Campbell as some special guy? Why is Dan Campbell getting all these kind of, big kind of just I don't even know. Why do people love Dan Campbell when he has not proven any really kind of success in this league by himself as like a coach? He's a tight ends coach. He was the assistant under Sean Payton. It's like, does Sean Payton need an assistant? Like Dan Campbell was some genius. It's like we're getting to that Adam Gase. Oh my God, he coached Peyton Manning. The man must have been a quarterback whisperer, a quarterback guru. It's like, no, he just played under some talent. He was on a talented team. He coached some talent. I mean, that doesn't mean that this dude is the Messiah, the end all be all, the answer, anything like that. So Dan Campbell is still who we thought he is, which is really not what we really wanted to take away from this, but we'll see if it translates to any win. We know he's a great motivator, folks, and that's why you need Dan Campbell on your team. I just don't think it's the head coaching spot. Defensive coordinator, tight ends coach, I've got no problem with that. An assistant somewhere, yeah, fine. But as a true head coach, where every decision has to run through him, where he has the final say in everything, I just don't think he's the guy to do it. When every single decision relies upon him to have the right decision, to make the correct call, I just don't think he's the guy. He brings the juice, he brings the energy, he is authentic. Those are true quality traits that you do need to be successful in football. I'm not saying it's not, but at the head coaching position, there's never really been a head coach like Dan Campbell that has ever won meaningful games in this league, folks. So we'll see. Maybe Dan Campbell is the new era, the new wave of head coaching. It's a bad team to try it, but we'll see if the Dan Campbell experience works out for Detroit. Can't be any worse than what it's been. So I guess that's something good going for him. But we still need to see kind of playoff wins consistently, at least playoff appearances consistently, if Dan Campbell truly wants to call this a success in Detroit.